Next generation. Cutting edge. Game changing. Transforming. Fuel ethanol fermentation is about to change as we know it. Imagine a yeast that minimizes the need for GA, reduces glycerol production, is robust, and delivers greater yield. That yeast has now arrived. Introducing new Transferm Yield Plus. What is Transferm Yield Plus? Transferm Yield Plus is derived from the yeast strain Saccharomyces cerevisiae, the same strain used in baker's yeast. However, the yeast in Transferm Yield Plus has been specifically engineered to outperform conventional yeast products in fuel ethanol production. This was accomplished using modern biotechnology to splice specific genes with yeast DNA. The result is a productive, safe, and very stable yeast with no antibiotic resistance markers. Mascoma and Lallemand Biofuels and Distilled Spirits were the first to successfully commercialize Transferm, a bioengineered yeast which has met the rigorous demands of the ethanol industry. Now comes Transferm Yield Plus. Let's take a closer look at how it works. GA production. GA, or glucoamylase, is an enzyme that breaks down the starch in ethanol feedstock and converts it into glucose sugar. Yeast uses this glucose sugar to make fuel ethanol. Conventional yeast requires that GA be purchased and incorporated into the fermentation process. This adds time and cost. Transferm makes its own GA, so less purchased GA is needed, which allows producers to save on input costs. Glycerol reduction. Conventional yeast produces glycerol as a byproduct during fermentation. This diverts the yeast from producing ethanol and reduces yield potential. Typically, glycerol produced during fermentation accounts for about 5% of the total soluble sugars. Using synthetic biology, Mascoma scientists incorporated a metabolic pathway that reduces glycerol production and increases ethanol production. The result is higher ethanol yield per bushel of corn. Balancing redox potential. Yeast makes glycerol for two reasons. First, as a response to high sugar levels and temperatures required in the ethanol fermentation process. And second, to balance their internal redox potential by using glycerol as an electron acceptor. A new pathway to make ethanol was introduced by Mascoma scientists that balance redox potential while making less glycerol. Robust in the fermenter. The yeast can still make some glycerol. This allows it to handle temperatures and sugar stress like conventional yeast. Transferm Yield Plus maintains sufficient glycerol internally for the fermentation process. A limited amount of glycerol is expelled while a greater amount of fuel ethanol is produced. Yield is increased with no compromises in the fermentation process. Ethanol concentration is high and the fermentation time is not affected. Ask Lallemand Biofuels and Distilled Spirits and Mascoma to help you incorporate Transferm Yield Plus in your plant to optimize GA dosage, nutrients, yeast dosage, and fermentation temperature. Fuel ethanol fermentation as you know it has been transformed. New Transferm Yield Plus is a game changer that can enhance your performance-driven fermentation team. Less GA, reduced glycerol, robust, and increased yield. For more information, contact your Lallemand Biofuels and Distilled Spirits or Mascoma Corporation representative today.